The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use Android?
No.
iPhone?
I have a stripped down, I call it cloaked, no SIM card, VPN, Pi-hole. There's a lot of different parts on it that I do carry. It's iPhone 7 if I need to. But there's no other apps on it, no extra apps,
Wow.
just blanket. Yeah.
So you keep that in case of emergency?
Yeah, if I need to do something. Yeah.
If you need to do something.
Like I want to use the GPS.
Right.
And it also has an iCloud account that's not, it's not my main iCloud account. So
Right.
I'm trying to make that Adam Curry and remove my other digital footprint.
I get it.
Try to move it over a little bit or something, at least confuse it a bit.
Wow. Whatever happened to, wasn't there a blockchain phone that was going to be released?
There's a number of interesting projects that are Linux based. I'm trying to think of the one that's on the. A lot of it's crowdfunded. This company actually they make laptops that are complete. They all open source hardware. Shit, Jamie, can you find what's the name of that company? It's I feel stupid now. It's the weed.
It definitely is
so
weed.
they crowdfund, but they've had very successful crowdfunding with Linux laptops with open source hardware. Because that's really where you have to look for the problems. Because advertising, it's an insatiable thing that these companies are hooked on, and so the data, they have to keep getting data from us. That's the system. So when we start to cut it down, they move to the hardware, they move to different types of ways of getting data. And right now, I mean, you still can't hide from cell phone triangulation. There's all kinds of ways people can find you. That's really the biggest problem. If you can track someone's location, you can build their life. Add a credit card to that. Mimi, John C. Dvorak's wife, she does the company's taxes, a very family business. And she I think she used to do some kind of auditing in the past. And she'll call up and say, oh, here's what I always see you do. And she'll tell me exactly what I do, where I go, when I like to eat out. She has all these patterns. And she just does it for fun.
Do you have GPS in your car?
Yeah, you can't get rid of it. I mean, there's no manufacturer after probably 2015 allows you to completely turn off tracking.
Well, you got an iPhone 7. Why don't you get like a 69 Corvette?
Well, but that's
Get something old.
69. That's the point. I mean, everything is built in now, and it's
I mean, I think that didn't really start until like the 2000s, right?
Well, they sold it to us in a great way with on-call. Like boom, I'm upside down. On-call, help is on the way.
What is this, Jamie?
I typed in.
Oh, Librem. There you go. Librem. Thank you.
Crowdfunded.
What did you type in?
Crowdfunded Linux laptop.
Fantastic.
And then I got
Librem.
this Purism company. They make a bunch of products.
Yeah.
Do you mean
Purism.
laptop or phone?
They make both.
So they make the laptops, the phone. They're coming, but there's other projects as well.
It looks like a real phone.
But here's my problem.
What?
It's still going to bleep and bloop.
Right.
I don't want it.
Right. It's going to find you.
I'll buy it. Of course, I want to have it because I have control over keeping it off and not using it when I'm on the road. But as a basic thing, if I'm at home and I just want to surf, I'm sitting down. Yeah, I'd rather use that. Absolutely. Apple, I kind of trust Apple to a degree. They're pretty good about not selling stuff they know. So their maps would be what I use. I trust that.
Yeah.
But only as far as I can throw them. I mean, I'm sure there's a million guys going, Curry, you have no idea how they try. Yeah, I do. So, but I just try to make less data.
What do you think happened with Google that they removed "Don't be evil"?
I think it was "Do No Evil."
Do no evil. That's right.
People get that wrong.
I get everything wrong.
Which is evil. No, I mean it's one of those things that it's like a Mandela effect.
Okay, right. Like the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like Mandela effect.
But for whatever reason, well,
So these guys who grew up, under the
"Don't be evil."
I thought it was "Don't do evil," but it was in the S1 document, and I remember reading it. And I could be wrong.
So it is either way.
Doesn't matter. Maybe they changed that halfway and went from "Don't be evil" to "Don't do evil" to "Don't be evil."
Either
they adjusted it from "Do the right thing" or
no, it was.
Well, that's what it says now, I guess. Oh, sorry.
Oh, either way.
Anyway,
whatever the wording.
So these guys didn't grow up by accident. This is going to be my big Google conspiracy theory. I'll give it to you. It's one way of explaining it. Maybe I'm full of shit.
Okay. I love a good
they
conspiracy.
They
though.
had
I'll
a
tell
lot
you
of help.
in advance. I'm rooting on this conspiracy.
Their main boost was the acquisition of Keyhole, and this was you have to know the company In-Q-Tel, which is a venture capital company, which is the CIA's. It's not a secret. It's the CIA's. They would say our CIA venture capital company, and they invest in stuff. And they helped the Keyhole acquisition. And Keyhole is the mapping. That's really what Google Maps was. The most important thing you can have for a person's identity is where they are. These guys kind of grew up young under oppression of Russia. That's where they both come from. And they kind of came into the system. If you look at the universities and the people involved and how they were almost given some kind of prizes for things they did. I mean, there's an alternative story to the general narrative of how Google came to be. So I think there was a lot of intelligence people involved in this, involved in setting it up. And the psychology of Larry and Sergey, some psychologists have analyzed, and I've listened to a lot of different people, is that they kind of become what their oppressor was to them.
Ooh.
And it's not really, I don't think they're bad guys, but this is psychosis that happens if you grow up in some kind of stressed out situation. You know, people who have been abused often abuse others.
Right.
And so I think that's what's going on. The problem is, I love all the technology. I love what all these companies and everybody's doing. The business model is just fucking humanity. It is. It's fucking us.
By giving away data and by influencing people
not
with
letting
the
us
use of that data.
Not letting us share in the revenue of the data.
Right.
Or having some control over it. And
Do you
that's
think
really
that
what it
there
is.
should be some sort of legislation that recognizes what data is, and that they look at it in terms of like it's a commodity, and saying like selling and buying and selling? And
Well, I think
using
there is some of that.
But is there some that really evenly balances it, or looks at it for what it really is? Like,
well, what is data? I mean, what is money?
Yeah.
Money is data. Money is
right.
not
What
is not
what
money
are you
anymore.
providing?
It's all data.
You're providing a service.
It's all data. It's all data.
Yeah, it is all data.
You have to have. It has to be a trust relationship, and if their business model is as it is now, if they don't change it, no legislation will stop them from getting around the problem.
Where now it's you get free shit and we get your data. You get a free browser.
Here's the interesting
we
thing.
get your data.
Here's the interesting thing. The internet is, although no longer quite the same way, with upstream and downstream being equal due to the cable companies and how they've implemented your personal connection. We can still do our own servers. It doesn't all have to be on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. There's I was talking earlier about Mastodon. NoAgendaSocial.com is our own social network. It's with open source software without algorithms, and we federate with all these other servers, much the way the World Wide Web grew up. And there's this mechanism for communicating with each other, and so it's kind of Twitter meets email. Only it looks like Twitter, but you control a lot more of how it works. And your community can be a small little community, and you can have no one come in. You can block people, or just say, I only want these cool people to also connect, or that server to connect. It's all good. So you have all these kind of almost like an Ancestry.com tree that branches to all these different places called the Federation. If we build upon those kinds of things and don't let other companies or companies at all, there's no reason for them to get involved. It's very cheap. With believe it or not, a Linux laptop, you can get started. Any kid can learn how to do it. They should be teaching it at school, how to set up a server, how to get around some of the hurdles, understand how an email server works. And we will not need these companies. We can have all the joy and a lot of the downside, but there won't be a Twitter police. There'll be only your own little community. Say, hey, we don't like this guy. We're just going to block you. Or your whole community. Or we would love to have you guys with us, and it can happen to us similarly. And that's how you build these networks, and eventually you connect to each other on the back end somehow anyway.
How often do you think, how long do you think it's going to be before we're implementing augmented reality into our life in that way, in like a social media context? Because you kind of got augmented reality already with your ears.
Yeah, so it would be unfair of me to say that it's augmented in that it's enhancing, but it's not. I have enhanced it in ways that are particular to me, but it's not some algorithm really determining things that I should hear. I am in total control of how that works and how it sounds. I don't see the case for augmented reality. I just don't see it. I mean,
when you think about what the Apple's trying to do with their glasses.
Well, I think it's trying to get people from doing this to doing this. I mean,
yes, it probably is.
That's all that it is. That's all that it is.
But it's also probably adding to the experience, right? If you can have like little animated fairies everywhere you go that you see through your Apple glasses, everything else looks the same. Do you ever go to the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland?
Yes.
And you look, there's a ghost sitting right next to you.
If I see you with one of those glasses on, I'm going to go learn some fucking Muay Thai. I'm going to kick you on your fucking head. Boom, like Dalsum. Pow!